Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You're listening to the What It Do podcast. But hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the What It Do podcast. In the studio this week, we got Mr. Iman.
Iman, yes.
Iman Jafada.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for coming, man. I know you.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. You reached out to us about a book that you wrote,
Yes, sir.
and I'm really excited to get into it, because it's a first-hand experience. It's not, writing about somebody else. It's writing about your stuff, your life, your I guess
Experience.
Yeah, your experience,
Yes.
what you went through. And I guess, but man, before we get started, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm originally from Iran. I was born in Tehran, Iran, the capital of Iran, and maybe you've heard a lot in the news.
Oh yeah,
past month or so. But I was born there and lived there for 6 years of my life, and came here to the U.S. It was May of 2001, so that time was pretty crazy too. I was 6 years old back then. We first lived in Iowa. It was called Mount Pleasant, only 10,000 people there, and pretty small town. And my dad he first came here to the U.S. when he was 18, and he attended school in Georgia. It was in Gainesville, and then he went to Texas Tech for his university, and it was in 1976.
Oh, wow.
He went to Texas Tech. So, he got a civil engineering degree, and in 1980 he graduated, and in 1992 he moved back to Iran to kind of visit family and everything. And it was very tough, with Iran-Iraq war and the revolution in '79 and all that. It was very tough to come back home to Iran and see family and everything. So it took a very long time for him to. It was kind of a little bit. Kind of had to really stay, kind of stuck in the U.S. But he came back in '92 and met my mom, and then I was born in '95, and we moved in to the U.S. in 2001, and I started first grade in Iowa, in the fall of that year, and it took me. I'm very lucky. I was very much a sponge that year.
I'm gonna make a quick adjustment real quick. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks.
Yeah. Sorry about
No
that.
worries. It took me luckily, a year or two to really adapt to the language because of how young I was, and by second grade, sometime that year, I became a lot more fluent, and I really had no trouble adjusting to the language, and just really, of course, there's a bit of a culture shock there, My mom, she moved here the first time. She was kind of around 40 years of age, so it's been a little tough on her, but she's adapted pretty well too, and of course, it's been a lot more smooth sailing for me over the years, trying to adapt to the culture and everything. I was in Iowa for eight years, from 2001 until 2009. The economic crisis and everything happened, and my dad had to, find a job here in Texas, and now he's been working in Ballinger, at Mueller, since 2009, so 17 years he's been there.
Okay.
Bless his heart, 7 years old, still working, but
I'm gonna cut you off real quick. Do y'all still have family over in Iran?
90% of it are back in Iran, so
hopefully they're
almost all of them.
Yeah, hopefully they're doing all right, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah, they've luckily, it's the wars, it's just, against the government. It's not really against the people. And we're not all that worried about, our family being, in danger. They've luckily traveled up north to where it's a lot more safer and not in the capital and in the big cities and all that. Yeah. A lot of people in Iran are against the government. So they're actually, cheering for that, what's happening, because they want a democracy, not what's in place now. And whenever Iranians there hear about so-called peace talks, they're like, no, keep going.
No kidding.
Yeah, they want this to, finish off. So
okay, well, hopefully it's a quick resolution. Something.
Yeah, I don't want to talk, too deeply into it, but yeah, that's the situation there. And in the family you were talking about, I have a cousin who lives in Reno, Nevada, and he's been here for 10 years, and he has an Airbnb business around 90 to or 100 houses. Pretty crazy what's going on there with his businesses. I'm very proud of him, what he's doing there. And it's his wife and his 2-year-old son over there, and we just visited them this past October, so it was a lot of fun hanging out with them, and the beautiful Reno Lake Tahoe weather over there.
Man, well, that's a nice place to be, even though it is in the middle of a desert.
Yeah,
it's kind of like an oasis in the middle of all that, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And and I have a uncle as well in California, and he's been here just about the same time my dad's been here, and he has a wife and 5 kids. So these guys are only the family we have in the U.S. The rest are all back in Iran, and the last time I visited there was 2012, and it's pretty crazy how many years it's been. Really, since my health issues started with the withdrawals with the benzodiazepines and the medications, and we just really weren't really in the mood to do traveling, especially overseas, all the way to Iran, seeing so many family members, like maybe 150 family members and friends over there. So it was just, we were just going through too much to do that. That's just kind of how our family dynamic works right now at the moment.
Well, that's a nice little breakdown.
Yeah, it's a good background.
Yeah, man. So, of course, we have you today in the studio to talk about your book.
Yeah.
So, I guess let's see, where do I start? So, you were first, I guess, what do you call it, diagnosis, or you first put on these medications when you were in high school, is what you were telling me before the podcast. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, it really started in high school. When we moved here to Texas in 2009. You guys, I was just getting used to the culture and everything in Iowa and all the friends I've made. So I was just, soaking in everything, and I really wanted to continue into high school and see kind of where that took me with, friends and the social life and everything. And then it was another really shock to the system when we moved to Texas, a new school, a new town, kind of a bigger town. You wouldn't say San Angelo is really that big, but
bigger
I'm
than
sure
we
you
can.
did adjust the weather too.
And the weather pretty hot, but it was kind of a shock to the system, and then you got to get used to somewhere else where everyone is like where are you from, and what's going on there, like what is your culture, religion, whatnot. And I just had to kind of explain all that kind of all over again, which was a little nerve-wracking. But then 2009, freshman year of high school, I went to Central here, and just really the strongest thing that connected me with everyone here in Texas was tennis. I really love tennis. I've been playing since I was 7 years old, and I started with my dad in Iowa, and he really got me into it. And I tried out for the tennis team, went up in JV pretty quickly.
Okay.
And got up to top of JV in my junior year, and just before all the health stuff, really started to take over. And tennis really got me connected with everyone, older, younger than me, girls, boys, and everything. Just it was a huge blessing. Tennis was
opened up. Seems like it opened up more to your life, by getting involved with the sport.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, really opened the floodgates with socially for me.
Yeah.
So.
So I mean, what high school was this?
Central.
Central. Okay, it was Central.
Yeah, 2009.
Oh man, 2009 just feels like a long time ago.
Yeah, I was 14 years old. Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I was like in my 20s. So what? So you moved down to, of course, you moved here to Texas. Got the started playing tennis. So when did you start going to the hospital? When did you start feeling that there was something that I guess you needed to be on medication, or the doctors felt you needed to be on medication?
Yeah, I was kind of just feeling things out in 2009, freshman year, and then beginning of 2010, I started really feeling social anxiety, and I started having depressive episodes where I just kind of went to I just really talked to my parents, like, I'm just not feeling myself anymore, like with friends and everything. There's just so many people I'm trying to get to know and connect with. It's just getting really overwhelming for me. And in high school, it's pretty tough. Algebra and science and biology and all that. Everything was getting pretty hectic for me. And then I told them, I might need some medical care. Here, and they took me to a psychiatrist here in town, and I saw Dr. Bankes. She's such a friendly person. She's such a good person. Although things didn't work out, with that, I still have a lot of respect for the person she is. And I saw her, and she prescribed a lot of antidepressants like Prozac, Effexor, just so many antidepressants, at least a handful I took back then. Yeah. And 2010 I was prescribed a lot of those antidepressants, and then the entire 2010 I was trying out those antidepressants, and just a lot of trial and error, and just most of them really didn't work out, and just made me feel worse, or didn't really feel much of a difference at all. Yeah. So
was it a lot of when you describe your depression? Is it a lot of anxiety? Was it numbness? Was it? I mean, I'm sure somebody will listen to this and kind of be like, "Well, what kind of depression?" Because I mean, I felt like I've been there, and it was more of a numbness. I was just numb to everything, and of course, South Park has this nice little episode. I don't know if you've ever seen South Park.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Have you seen it? Okay. Yeah. Well, there's an episode, and it's kind of crazy because I know it's a cartoon, but I really related to it, and it was funny at the time, even though it was just like, oh wow, there's something wrong, where everybody's talking to Stan, right, and the first few words or sentences come out right, then all of a sudden it's like there's this poop that's shooting out of people's mouth, and I related to it because I'm like, people would start talking, and I'm just like, all of a sudden it would just go quiet. Yeah. And it wasn't because what they were saying wasn't relatable or nothing like that. It's just, I feel like everyone was just, everything was bullshit. Everything's like, oh man, you're sitting there talking, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, I go numb, and I'm just like, blah, 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 and I just like, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear what you have to say. I just want to go and be alone. I just want to do that, Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to get at. Cause I mean, I have talked about my, a little depression that I had. And people related to it to a point where it was more, and you know what? I kind of had the same thing, but it was this. It was more of didn't want to be around loud crowds. Just all of a sudden,
isolation,
social anxiety,
anxiety. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, mine was different. I just wanted peace and quiet. I just wanted quiet. You know. So your depression was more of, was it anxiety? Was just like, oh man, I don't want to be here. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a combination of both of them. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, especially in 2010, I just didn't know what I was dealing with, so it was most of an empty feeling I had.
Oh,
okay. I just came home and told my parents, like, I don't know what I'm feeling right now. I just have to go lay down. I slept 2-3 hours after school, and they started to really get worried about me, and. It was affecting my schoolwork a little bit, and I was feeling like, friends were kind of bullying me a little bit, although they were just, kind of teasing a little bit. And kids are like that in high school, and especially when you try to get to know someone, they try to break the ice and maybe feels a little off at first, but their intentions are good. They want to
Yeah.
connect with you in the best possible way. But I mean, I just came home, just felt really empty at the start, and in 2010, and going through the trial and error of the antidepressants and all that, and but I really tried to get used to it. My mom's a very good listener, and she's very graceful of what I have to say. She takes it in, and
Well, that's good.
and gives me a lot of great advice. And my dad's really a big driving force. He tries to motivate me as much as possible. And
You have some good support.
yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, they've been very, very loyal the past, how many years? Almost 15, 16 years battling these health stuff, taking me everywhere, all over the States for hospitals and doctor's appointments and everything. And and during high school, I just dealt with it as much as possible. I'm actually looking back, I'm actually really proud of how I battled it initially, the mood and how I was dealing with everything, because I got up from when I first tried out, the heat got the best out of me.
Yeah.
I just retired mid-match. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. This heat is way too much for me.
106 degrees out here.
Yeah, it was actually
shade.
110 degrees.
Oh, no.
When I tried out, I was August of 2009.
Yeah.
I just went back home. I wanted to watch tennis, but I was like, I'm kind of sick of this right now.
Yeah.
But
Well, that good old Texas heat will do that to you.
but
You're not born in it. Oh man, it sucks. I'm sure it sucks.
yeah, I mean, when I was born in Tehran, but I mean, first 6 years of your life, you don't have that much of a memory and sense of how the heat was. But yeah, I was raised in Iowa, where there were 4 seasons and a lot of snow, so it was really it was pretty chilly there most of the time, except for the summers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just going back to high school. I was just so proud of how I got through that, and I was just 12 in JV, which is like 30th overall or something on the team, and then throughout my freshman year, I got up to like 5 or 6 or something, and I was making a lot of progress, just playing practice sets with a lot of my teammates, and yeah, sophomore year started, and I was really determined to get up there a lot more, and got up to like 2nd, 3rd in JV, and I was like, this is it. I'm gonna set myself up for a great year, and even though all the troubles I've been through, I can get through these obstacles pretty nicely. I feel like.
So at this point, you were on your medication while you were doing tennis and all this.
Luckily, I really got through most of that during the summer of 2010, which wasn't really, I wasn't impacted that much with my schoolwork and all that. I just kind of got through it, with my parents and just at home where we were. So and then I didn't have that much of a trouble with the anxiety and social anxiety during freshman year and sophomore year, but then going into junior year, before the summer of my junior year, I started having a lot of like OCD and trying to like calm my mind by myself. Like when I sat somewhere, even watched TV, I would fidget a lot, or my mind would race with a lot of thoughts of, how am I going to just a lot of unnecessary thoughts, like how am I going to get through high school with this mindset, or how am I going to improve socially or get up on the tennis team? Just overthinking a lot, and a lot of like things that weren't really in my own control. I was just thinking too much about, and I've really learned the past few years to just put those things aside and just focus on. I've really had to focus on things I can control, because if I just focus on things I can't, I just go nuts. I just can't deal with that. But yeah, I mean, and then junior year, man, I was before the first day of my junior year, I just I spent the entire night just thinking about how I was gonna do going into a crowd full of teenagers and all that. Again, after a full summer break, especially with the OCD and like repeating things in my mind, like this is gonna be okay. You're gonna do okay. I mean, even encouraging yourself takes so much energy. You just want to stay positive and tell things to yourself. I mean, it's supposed to fire you up, but it was doing the opposite for me. It was taking the energy out of me.
Starting to worry about it even more, trying to coach yourself up. That's
exactly, and
man.
it was causing so much fatigue during the day, and I had to converse with teachers, go through my studies, listen to all these kids and all my friends talk about their day, and they're asking about my day. I'm like, dude, come on. I'm trying to get through it right now. I mean, I wouldn't actually put it that way, but you know, I was just trying to kind of, how you put it, I was just trying to get out of the situation a little bit. Yeah. Just go be by myself a little bit. And I had a good friend named Chris. He was very understanding, and I mean, still is. I'm pretty good friends with him still now. And we always had lunch together, and it was just me and him. And I sometimes talked to him about, you know, feeling overwhelmed and all that, and he would just kind of listen and take it in. So, I mean, junior year it was pretty insane. I mean, I just couldn't really attend my first day of junior year. That's how insane that first night was. Wow. Overthinking.
So you're like overstimulated with everything going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't even sleep that night, and pulled an all-nighter, and then just, you know, the sun was rising. I just told my parents, you know, I'm just way too exhausted. I can't do this first day. Yeah. Just go in the mix and everything, and you know, they understand.
First day of school is usually chaotic too. Like it's usually very chaotic.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everybody's trying to find their classes. Everybody's everywhere. Hell, everybody's asking, "Hey, man, do you know where this building is? Do you know where?" Of course, Central.
Yeah, Central's huge.
You know, you're just like, "Yeah, you need to walk out that way." And I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm going to be late." You know, how far is it?
5 blocks over there. You know,
and you're just trying to round up your morning, and it's just like I get it. It's chaotic. It was chaotic for me. Luckily for me, I smoked a lot of weed.
Oh gosh.
So I was
allegedly.
You know, my high school was chill just because I had something.
That was your coping mechanism.
Yeah, it was my coping mechanism. Yeah. It's not trust me, it's not the greatest coping mechanism because it makes you very forgetful, and it's like all my worries just went out. I didn't think about nothing. Shit, there was some of those classes I walked into 30 minutes late, you know, and I'm just like, all right, I'm ready to go in now, and they're just like, where? Like,
you're just gonna walk in, no problem,
and sit down. I'm like, yeah, I'm in your class. I'm just trying to. Well, of course, my excuse was like, I'm just trying to get the feel for it the first day, you know. And it was just like, because I just took my time getting wherever I was getting to. Yeah. But that was my coping mechanism too, though, because I'm like, I don't think I could.
This is not medical advice.
Yes, it's not medical advice at all. You know, because I'm sure there was a better way to do it, but that's the way I.
Yeah, I mean, as a teenager, I mean, yeah. And I mean, I get you, you know, physically trying to get around Central. It was pretty tough. You know? Oh yeah. And physical, social anxieties all mixed in together. And I mean, after really the first week there in junior year of high school, I just told my parents, you know, I really need this immediate attention right now. So, and then like that first week with my dad, I went to urgent care, and this guy was like, you know, didn't hesitate at all. He's like, he just wrote my first benzodiazepine, lorazepam. I had never taken that before, taken any benzos or any medication that affected you that quickly, and it was that strong. Mm-hmm. The only things that I took were antidepressants, which were like it gradually went into your system after a week or two, but they kicked in and 15.
Oh, so the rapid release type versus the slow release.
Yeah, that's what benzodiazepines do. Really, it gets in your system way too fast. And I mean,
what is a benzodiazepine? I mean, because I've heard the term benzos. Like, I know Joe Rogan has talked about it before. Mm-hmm. But he kind of talks about it like in a positive light, like it helps some people. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm sure it can be, but I'm sure it's got like everything else, side effects. You know what I mean? And I'm sure that probably outweighs
Yeah.
the benefits.
What's
of it.
that
But I don't know what it is exactly.
Yeah, neither do I. I don't know what it affects, or I'm sure Tiffany's looking it up.
Yeah.
But like, what's that medication that they call bars? You know, it's
That's
like
Xanax.
Xanax.
Oh, that's Xanax.
Yeah.
Is that a benzodiazepine?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
the
wow.
most. It gets in your system the quickest, and it's like it's called a half life. It just gets in your system and then out of your system, and it doesn't really let you. It just messes you up really quickly and then gets away. It's like it's like a really toxic person comes here, beats you up, gets away.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's why right now, since I'm withdrawing, I'm on diazepam, which is the longest lasting in the system. It kind of eases through the body and the system. It gets used to it a little bit, and then really slowly gets out of the system. It's very easy for a withdrawal process, and And
you were saying you've been on this medication for a year now, right? You're tapering off.
The diazepam I've been on since August of 2022.
Okay.
I've been withdrawing, and
Wow.
I was on 30 milligrams of diazepam back then, and I just went down like 0.5 or 1.0 milligrams every month or two. And that's how long really it takes for the body to try to get used to going down just a little increment.
Yeah, because man, getting off that medication can kill you, man.
Yeah,
You have to taper off.
Yeah, you have to
real
taper
easy.
off of it.
Wow.
You know, and of course, I know somebody who probably listen to this podcast, and I don't even think I'm exaggerating, you know, because they say, what was the medication called again?
Xanax?
Xanax, right? So I did some little research on it, right? Lethal dose is 2.5 bars, you know, which is 2 pills and a half.
That's a lethal dose?
That's according to the internet, it's a lethal dose.
Okay.
Hell, he's popping this shit daily.
Holy crap.
You know, and I mean, when I tell you this guy was a zombie, he was a zombie. Like I had him working for me for a little bit, you know, and it was like talking to a wall. You know, I'm like, hey man, you know, what you fucked up. I wasn't really chastising him. I'm just like, hey man, you know, you need to get your shit out.
You're worried about him, yeah.
Yeah, I was worried about him. I was like, you need to get your shit together, man. I was like, you know, the shit that you just pulled, that's some bullshit, you know, and I kid you not, after a 20-minute talk where I felt like I was just talking to a wall is what it was. He looks at me, he goes, what?
Oh, wow.
I'm like, did you not hear any of that?
20-minute talk?
Yeah, dude. He's like, wow. Man.
Spaced out completely, yeah.
He was gone, man. He was gone. Mm-hmm. You know, luckily he's in a better place now. He's off that
thank
shit.
goodness,
you know? But I don't know how he got off of it. You know, so I couldn't tell you if he tapered off, if he just quit cold turkey and stuff like that. Like I was worried about him, man. I was really worried about him. Because I mean, I've heard about this medication. I heard that you can't just get off of it because it'll cause all types of damage.
Yeah.
You can't cold turkey off of that.
Yeah, you can't. You know, so
wild.
I can't speak to how he got off of it or you know what protocol he did or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
I just know that he's off it because I talked to him. Well, I've had breakfast with him a few times, and he's just like, "Hey, man, yeah." I was like, "Dude," sometimes we reminisce on it. He's like, "Yeah, man, I don't." He goes, "What's crazy?" He goes, "He worked for me for a few years," and he goes, "Those last 2 years, I don't remember.
Wow.
I don't remember anything." I was like, "Are you serious?" Of course, he wasn't prescribed these. He was taking them recreationally, and I'm like, I don't understand that. You know, just taking them to take them. You know,
Well, I know people that would
get.
get them. They would get them, depending on how much of the dosage it was for each pill, and like I think the yellow ones were like really big, and like they would take like half of that, or they would take and then they would drink alcohol with it, but they would completely black out.
Oh,
they
yeah.
would not remember anything.
I've I don't know how to word this.
Allegedly.
When I said allegedly.
No, I was away someplace, and there were some people there talking, and there were some guys there from Dallas, and they were talking about one of their buddies that had he murdered 2 people,
No,
but he got 4 years for it
because he was on that shit.
because technically, and he had a good lawyer, obviously, but technically he was considered clinically insane while he was up, because he had been going like on a week's long binge, and it was he doesn't remember none of it. It was like this whole, like that entire month probably he doesn't remember, but especially that portion of it.
Yeah.
Like he didn't even know that had even taking place. Yeah.
Seeing you took it medicationally, these guys are taking it recreationally.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know? So I couldn't, I mean, I could see how you probably got away with it. Because, I mean, there is enough research out there, you know, in his defense to, hey, you were clinically insane.
Yeah.
Because you don't remember anything. You don't, I mean, it's like a big wiping of memory, especially when you're abusing it the way they were.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you were taking it at prescribed dosage, you know, and you were doing it for self-care. These guys, I don't understand.
These guys were just doing it for fun.
I don't understand
which
doing
is crazy.
it. But sorry, kind of
and you were asking for the definition of it?
Yes.
So benzos are prescription central nervous system depressants used to treat anxiety, insomnia, seizures, and alcohol withdrawal by increasing the inhibitory effects of GABA in the brain. So the common types include the Xanax, the Valiums, the Ativans, which are typically meant for short-term use due to risk of addiction, dependence, and side effects like sedation, dizziness, and cognitive impairment.
Oh, okay.
So they even use it to treat alcohol withdrawal.
Yeah, because alcohol withdrawal. That's another one.
That's like I heard that's worse than coming off of heroin because you could die.
Yeah, you could die going cold turkey.
Yeah, and that kind of seems like a double-edged sword there because you're going to be withdrawing from alcohol.
But you're going into something else.
You're going into something else, and then now you're going to be withdrawing from this when it's time to get off of that, which means you have to take something else.
Cross addiction. So,
yeah. And that's bad.
Yeah, and then.
But what do you do? Yeah.
That's a very good question.
It's just weaning off, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, slowly, but it's going to take some time.
That takes some time for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good things to it, actually. I mean, I'm talking about kind of my negative experience with it, but I mean, the positives with benzos, I mean, it does really do wonders with anxieties and stresses, daily stresses, if you take it as prescribed, but like maybe 1 month or 2 months max.
What's a normal prescribed dose?
I mean, it really varies
it just
because
severity of the situation.
Okay.
It depends. Like there's like diazepam. Like I was on 30 milligrams, which equates to like 5 milligrams of Klonopin, and so it all varies. But you know, I was overprescribed just 9 months, and that's what got my body really extremely dependent to it, and I just had to keep on going with the dosage and asking the doctors, I kind of need this to continue the dosage in my system, because the alternative was, you know, I just had to kind of, you know, stay in my house, and because of the cold turkey and the
withdrawals of it.
Yeah, the withdrawals. It's called acute withdrawals. Yeah, it stays in your system for too long, even though it's really, you know, the dosage is over with, and you know, 2-3 weeks, even a month has passed. It's still kind of in your system, and your nerves and your tissues and muscles and the brain and all that, and that's why the dependency is just built in your body like that. And but you know, the positives are that, you know, you can take it like maybe a couple times a week, or you know, even some people use it for years. I mean, I would recommend that your doctor prescribing it for you for that amount of time, but you know, maybe a week or a couple times a week, something like that. But during my junior year, when I started out, the doctor prescribed it, and I was like, I need this every day for school. And that's when I told my parents, you know, I was actually prescribed this. So I was kind of backing the doctor, like, you know, he says to take it every day, so I'm going to keep doing that. So I just kept being prescribed lorazepam back then. And it was September 2011. That's when I was prescribed my first benzodiazepine, lorazepam, and I just took it every day right before I went to school and after I came home from school, and I mean, I'm just not sure why nobody told me, you know, after a month or two, man, you got to start weaning off of this. This is getting way too much in your system. You're gonna build a huge, severe dependency to it, and just, you know.
You think these doctors are incentivized to keep prescribing this stuff to you?
What do you mean exactly?
Well, you know, they got medical reps, that come in, because I used to work in the hospital, in the clinic, so I would see these medical reps come in, and of course they would entice these doctors with trips or bonuses or, hey, we'll pay you for a conference, all inclusive. And it's like, hey, and we'll let you, as long as you attend this conference, because they kind of have to have a business write-off, and we'll give you an extra, 3-4 nights, at these places. So, that's where I was getting at. Do you think they're incentivized and like, hey, let's keep you on this medication instead of warning you, hey, there's what do they call it? We just take it for a certain period of time, then you kind of, I'm sorry?
Like a trial?
No, there's another word. I had it in the tip of my tongue and I lost
Well, as long as they keep getting prescribed, they're being sold, which means the pharmaceutical companies are making money.
Yes. Exactly.
And then there's a kickback going to the doctors that are actually pushing it because,
Yeah.
like in Florida, they had these pill mills going on.
Oh, yeah.
Like there was massive going on down there. So they were just handing out prescriptions to anybody. You go in there, your toe hurts, here you go. You know what I mean? For anything, So, they were getting kickbacks, for.
So there'd be no reason to sit there and to tell you, there's nothing for them to tell you, hey, man, we're going to take it for 2 months and you're going to wean you off, and it was cycle. I guess you can cycle on and cycle off, so, but hey, as long as I keep you
sick a little
keep you
bit.
sick,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's how you felt at one point, I know I did.
Sure.
Because I mean, I'm diabetic, so I went to go see a doctor, and I kid you not, I was in there 10 minutes in his office. Actually in the office, probably talked to him for 5, and I left with like 7-8 medications.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And on top of that, right before he left, he's like, you need some Viagra? And I'm like, for what? I was like, no, everything, it works fine.
Yeah. But it was just another thing that he
it was just another thing, And I was telling him, I was like, I don't want to take Jardiance because I went through that whole motion where it's like, hey, man, these pills are really messing up my stomach. Okay, stop taking these, start taking these. And she bounced. I was like, she was only in the office like 3-4 minutes max.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just to how's everything going, blah, blah, blah. I took my vitals, went through my chart, and basically, okay, stop taking these, start taking these. And I'm like, I go into the parking lot. I'm a little upset, because I'm like, how can you possibly diagnose? How can you possibly help me if you haven't even talked to me for 3 years?
Seemed like she didn't really care about it.
No, she didn't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the parking lot, right? And I was like, all right, I'm going to Google this. I'm going to Google this medication. And there was a class action lawsuit because it was causing foreign Ayers disease, something like that. So what it is, you start taking the pills and you start excreting all the sugar. So when you excrete sugar, of course, everybody's got a little bit of bacteria on their private parts, So what this does, it like hyper feeds these bacteria, and what happens is that it can cause it to spread pretty quick. So once it moves, I guess, out towards like the taint or the lower of your nut, I would say sac and your taint area, and if it gets infected, these bacteria will grow to a point where they become flesh eating.
Holy crap!
Yeah, and it's crazy because I'm like, these are in your body all the time, So it hyper feeds them, and once you get this foreign Ayers disease, there's no cure.
Wow.
There's none, And I'm in the parking lot reading this, and I'm like, oh my god, how come there's no warning? There's no nothing. I was only in the room with this lady for like 3 minutes, and I'm leaving, and I'm like, I made the mistake, and I was like, what exactly is foreign Ayers disease? I go looking at pictures. Oh my God, it's the most horrific thing I've ever seen.
It's like eating the flesh.
Literally. Yeah, it's eating the flesh in your private parts. Just like the only thing they can do is cut it off or cut it out, And just to make sure that they get everything, they cut a wide area.
Wow.
Like you're a eunuch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how often is this happening? Obviously enough where there's a class action lawsuit that's going on. Yeah. And I'm totally upset, man. I am so upset because I'm like, I wasn't even in 30 minutes. She took one medication from me, replaced it with another, and just told me, I'll see you back in 3 months. Well, come on, man. In 3 months, a lot can happen in 3 months.
Yeah.
I'm sure It's like, at what point did you realize it's like, look, can you wean me off of this? What is there a different protocol? Is there something that I mean, I don't know. I of course, obviously, you wrote a book about it, So at what point were you just like, you know what, this is enough's enough?
Yeah, I mean, really good point you made. My dad's all these years, he's been like, these doctors have one hand on the doorknob and one hand in our pockets.
Yes.
And
yeah.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, by the time spring of 2012 came around, I had no idea these were having such a bad effect on my body. And when I started kind of playing tennis in the springtime in 2012, after maybe 6-7 months on the medications being prescribed, and I started, going out to the tennis courts, trying to practice, and my muscles just didn't react the way they used to.
Okay.
I was trying to hit the ball as hard as I could, and or move as fast, and the reaction time is so slow with benzos, and your reaction time goes from normal to very slow. You become very lethargic, and just on the court, especially when you have to have fast reflexes.
You got reduced alertness is what you did.
Exactly, alertness, and I wanted to go that way. I just either didn't have the motivation or the strength to do that, and yeah, that's when I told my coaches after going down a few spots in junior varsity, like from 1 to 2 to 4, 5, 6th place in JV. And then I went to the locker room and I was like, guys, this is the lowest I've been since freshman year of high school, like 3 years ago. And they were like, what can I say, man? It's just how you're performing out there. So, and they just, didn't know what was really going on deep down. And I was just, 15, 16 years old. I couldn't express myself the way, obviously I've been able to do now. But it was just, pretty insane back then. And yeah, and just really fast forward to the summer of 2012, I failed an algebra class, and I had to do a summer school for that. I was like, man, I can't start my withdrawal process and do that. I got in this taxi because I hadn't gotten my license yet, and I went to this algebra class during the summer, and I failed that again. So, I mean, it was
really affecting you.
Yeah, and I was, after a month, I was actually done with the withdrawal process of the lorazepam. I'm going to back up to May of 2012. I saw this doctor who spent a few years in jail from 2016 to or a few years, in the 2010s. He spent in jail because he was, doing some sneaky insurance things and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, he told me to withdraw just in 1 month because I was on them for 9 months, and every body is different,
The chemistry.
yeah, and he didn't know, I was supposed to go that slow with the withdrawal process, and he got me off of that in 1 month or 2 months, and the only thing I was just taking was a medication called buspirone, which is like a long-term anxiety medication, and that's the only thing I was on, and I wasn't doing crap. So, and I mean, I just started the withdrawal process June of 2012, and that entire summer I was just feeling worse and worse after each week, and and just fortunately there are a lot of people who can withdraw in rehab centers in like 2-3 weeks. They'll be totally fine because their body chemistry is totally different, and they can adapt well to the medication not being in their body. But me, I was off of it for 2-3 months in a row, and I was just feeling worse every single week, to the point where I was just in my house with my parents, and I love tennis, so there's this French Open tournament and Wimbledon. I love to watch, and my dad would come home from work, and I'd be just laying in bed in my room, and sometimes with a washcloth over my head. And he's like, "What's going on, Iman?" And he's like, "I'm going through these withdrawals. Like, it just sucks. I didn't know it would take this long to adapt to this being,
to balance yourself back out."
Exactly. Yeah, I just get used to it without it in my system. But yeah, that was just the first experience I had with the withdrawals, and and fortunately, I got back on it in August. We saw my family doctor at Shannon, and he prescribed me back on it, and my parents and I were thinking about, how can I go back to school for my senior year, because during that entire summer, I was just in my house. I was planning on going to Bentwood, becoming a member, playing tennis, meeting a lot of new people in the neighborhood, and just none of that panned out. I was just, laying there in my bed in my house, barely even getting around the house, making, maybe sometimes I would get up, make some cereal, and then go back to bed.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
and then even taking a shower, I would be so exhausted trying to take a shower. When I was done, I was like, thank goodness I'm back in bed right now. And it was at a point where, my mom was preparing all the meals, and it was like a nursing home with a 17-year-old, and it was just insane. And
Man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So were
really-
any of the since it was long term use that you had it, was there memory loss that came with this, or that you know of, or
Just
were
from
you ever
like the prolonged
irritable?
use.
yeah, the best that I know of, it was, the way that I felt, it was just, short term. When I was speaking, maybe I would forget little details, but during my entire life, my memory's been pretty strong.
Yeah.
I've remembered so many things, and I was really blessed with the memory, because I was able to get so much into this book with
Yeah.
all the memories I've had throughout the years. So, the memory's been, really fine, and the sleep's been good, luckily, over the years, with the withdrawals and the side effects of the medication in the body. So, and every month or so, I see my doctor, and he's like, how's your sleep? I think it's good, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, it's still all good, luckily, because a lot of patients, they have so much trouble sleeping, and unluckily, physically, I've had the most trouble with the muscle stiffness and the shortness of breath, the shallow breathing that I've had. I still have these problems.
Is that linked to like the anxiety,
Or the medication.
Yeah, the medication. Yeah, because ever since summer of 2012, when I started the withdrawal process, I've been having the shallow breathing, the severe muscle stiffness, which has made it so difficult to get out of my house and do any exercises or even walk, like, half a mile or something.
Yeah.
And I've had these symptoms ever since almost 14 years. This summer will be 14 years since that
Wow.
summer. And these symptoms aren't as severe as it was back then, but as I've withdrawn and all that, it's gotten a lot less severe. And really after that summer, we didn't really know that all my health issues were because of the benzos, and because of these withdrawals were causing all these severe, like, shortness of breath, muscle stiffness, air hunger that I had. And we didn't know all of these were because of the benzos. We thought that it was some kind of mysterious illness that I had, that we had to go and I had to go get diagnosed. And
okay.
so I went to, we went to so many doctors in Shannon, neurologists, psychiatrists, psychologists, and so many other specialists, like all over Texas. And even we even flew to, like Rochester, Minnesota, the Mayo Clinic. We went to the Cleveland Clinic in Ohio. We went to Mass General in Boston. We even drove, my dad even drove so many times in 2016. He went to Maryland, Baltimore, San Francisco. We drove so many places, man. And 2016 was a hell of a year with the traveling. And so throughout all these years, from the summer of 2012 until October 2018, we traveled to all these places trying to seek the right kind of diagnosis that would fit kind of we were actually praying when we go to the doctor and we tell them our story that they're going to say, you have this, devastating disease, that we're going to give you this medication and it's going to last that long. We're going to set you in the hospital for 2 to 3 months and you're going to be just fine, man. We got you. and every time we went in there, they're like, man, you're just like, all your blood tests look fine. Dude, you're doing fine. You just have to get off these benzos. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be wonderful in a few months. I mean, everything is just fine and dandy. You're just gonna go home and feel good as new in a few months.
Yeah, once you get off these benzos, you'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, kind of going back to what you said, kind of doctors maybe getting incentives and all that. I think maybe a few of them do, but over the years, I think a lot of people were not educated enough. How much would somebody build a dependency to these medications, and how long would it take with the withdrawal process, and how different really everyone is.
Yeah.
Because some people might get off the medication maximum 1 month and they'll be just fine actually. Yeah. So some of these doctors weren't exaggerating when they said that.
Yeah, and I've always wondered that. Like, how do these doctors stay so up to date with all these medications? But there's so many medications that come out. Yeah. Of course, I've seen this firsthand. And where these medical reps are describing to the doctor what the pill does, what the antagonist, how it works. And I'm like, this is crazy because there's somebody who's a medical rep who doesn't have a medical degree, explaining to this doctor what this medication does and how they prescribe it and how it needs to be. So I'm like, there's a break in knowledge there. Yeah. You know what I mean? And come on, man, you should be doing your I guess
research. The doctor should actually be getting his information from the actual researchers.
Yes,
the creators of it, not from a rep. Which of course these people are just handing it to a rep to go sell. They're sales reps, So you're right. There's a big loss in knowledge right there, because if the doctor needs to ask questions, what are they going to refer to? Just a manual?
Yeah.
That's what this says about that question.
I'm sure there's a number they can call, but the other person on the other side of the phone, what do they don't have, they're not staffing doctors and not staffing pharmacists on the other side of this line to, hey, just let me tell you exactly how this does, or how this works.
Well, that's the scariest thing about these medications. And I feel like us, the general public, we're trusting these medical professionals with our health because we feel like, hey, you've got it. Yeah, you went to school for 8 years. You know what I mean? Like, you should know all this stuff. So I'm trusting you with my well-being.
Yes.
When they don't have, they are probably very skilled in their field, but then when it comes to like a new medication that comes in, and I don't know how old benzos are and how long they've done research and studies on it before they unloaded it onto the general public. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of weird too. But it's scary for us to just be like, okay, I trust you with my health. Whatever you say, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then for it to affect you the way that it did, it's like, I'm sure it affects your trust in the medical system. I'm sure you kind of don't have a choice because you want to get help, but it makes it hard.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's so much shit that's out there, or so much new medication that comes out, and I've always wondered that. I'm like, when do you have the time to catch up? You barely have the time to spend in the room with your patient. Mm-hmm. You're not going home and, hey, I'm going to do some research on these pills that they're getting me to prescribe.
You just trust them.
Yeah. You ever see like these commercials, and then at the end of the commercial, it'll have all the side effects, and oh my gosh, they sound worse than the actual illness. I'm like, no, I'm good, thank you. Like what you were saying with that flesh-eating bacteria, like that's enough right there to say no, thank you. I don't want to take that.
Which is crazy because I'm like, if I didn't Google it, I would have known. I would have been going back to the doctor. I'm like, hey, I got this weird thing, happening in my lower region. Next thing you know, I get my feet up in the stirrups to look at what's going on, Yeah. And he's like, oh, we're going to have to amputate. I'm sorry, amputate what?
And then when we bring about our concerns, they're like, these are just rare. You don't really have to worry about them. And then when you happen to be rare, they're like, I'm so sorry, You're just going to have to talk to your lawyers about that or something like that.
I'm sorry, man, but when it comes to my private parts, fucking, if 1% chance, that's more than enough.
That's more than enough
I'm
chance.
Out.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'm going to put something there to hold that up.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So you were talking about how were you mainly prescribed just the was it Alpra?
It was
Alprazolam?
lorazepam initially.
Lorazepam. So
yeah,
okay, so from what I'm seeing, it's an intermediate acting used for anxiety and sedation is what I'm showing as to what it really is for, like the reasons, like the type. And then you said, they gave you so much of a dosage, I guess, that it would basically equivalent to like a Klonopin, right? So
excuse my ignorance, but what's a Klonopin?
it's another type
Type
of
of
benzo.
benzo.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But Klonopin is a long acting. So I noticed that the Xanax is a short acting, the Klonopin is a long acting, Valium is like long acting, and then the
I didn't know
lorazepam
I didn't know Valium was one of them.
is an
That's been around
intermediate.
for a long time.
So
Yeah, Valium right now. That's the one I'm on. It's Valium or diazepam.
yeah,
And
diazepam.
that's the
So
one I'm on. That helps me withdraw the easiest right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, diazepam is really the most fitting of all of them to be on. And yeah, sorry guys, I was kind of with the timeline. I'm here. Sorry. Yeah.
It's probably our fault because we go all over the
No,
place.
guys, that's okay. You guys gotta get things, off your chest too a little bit. Sometimes, the medical system's done a number on all of us.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
On some level. So.
Yeah. Especially when you come to find out. I'm sorry, but the second leading cause of death in the United States is medical malpractice.
That's the second leading
The
cause.
second leading cause,
Wow.
man. The last little thing that and of course I read this probably about 8 months ago, so I don't know if it's changed then. But last I saw it, I'm like, that's insane. I mean, we go to these people
Trusting.
to treat us, and then because of their lack of knowledge, whether their lack of something, people are dying, and of course there's some fault on the pharmaceutical companies, because I'm like, I mean, they got the free reign. They're not going to get sued.
They're all about profit.
Yeah, they're all about profit. And, when a medication comes around, it does hurt a lot of people. Hey, they pull it, they rework it, and then they send it back out as a new medication, which is, it's insane, And a lot of the stuff that's being put in our food, it's kind of like, did you hear about this shit today or yesterday?
What do you mean?
With Trump and Monsanto.
No, I didn't.
Okay. There's going to be a law. He's writing a law to come out to basically absolve the chemical companies from. You can't sue Monsanto.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's given it's crazy because I'm like,
So who greased his pockets to do that?
Yeah, somebody's greasing his pockets, obviously. Because I'm like, wait a minute, man. We know that glyphosate hurts people. We know that it causes reproductive harm. It causes all just a litany of shit. And you're going to give these guys a fucking free pass? Hey, yeah.
Bulletproof now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So the amount, because
So now they're going to up it now.
Yeah, of course they're going to up it. And I'm like, everybody's coming up with their own little solutions or whatever. Because I'm like, I think it's Ohio or Iowa. They've got the most cancer costs. Of course, they got the most usage of glyphosate. They got the most cancer in the country. Of course, because they're spraying their crops and the people who get affected by all this shit.
They get oversprayed too.
Yeah, they're just inundated with this with the glyphosate all day, every day.
Oh, it's probably Iowa with the cornfields and all that.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's probably Iowa.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It's just it's mind blowing because I'm like, this hurts people. Pharmaceutical companies too. What you're doing is hurting people, but yet you don't care because hey, you got a free ride. I can't get sued.
It's just a lack of morals all these guys have.
yeah.
And there's just all these fat cats just thinking about themselves.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the
And all
greed is
that, yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
So I'm going to change gears real
ahead,
quick because I'm kind of interested on. So what led to the writing of the book? Obviously your whole experience, but how did it all come to fruition for you?
Yeah, I mean, over the years, since we lost, these things not only affect you medically, they affect you financially. And
Absolutely.
we lost probably, $500,000 or something like that over the years, just, trying to, with all the medical bills and insurance and all that. And luckily I've been on Medicaid, SSI disability since 2014. So luckily we've kind of saved up a little on that and they've helped us out. But yeah, I mean, we've been trying to kind of, you know, we've turned to lawyers a little bit, and like with the medical malpractice and everything, and they're like, this is like so many years past, we can't really get into it, especially in Texas where the statute of limitations is 2 years, and you can't go back that long. And
Wow.
so I really tried to focus on something more positive, like actually writing about my experience and
Spreading that awareness.
exactly, and you know, writing about it, or maybe some articles or op-eds, or sending it to places. Like maybe I could, you know, make some money that way, make up the kind of all the money we lost, or even my parents and their retirement savings and all that. So maybe that's kind of the best way I can make it up. So yeah, that's really after we kind of gave up a little bit on going after these doctors or hospitals that we that kind of failed us throughout the years. I thought about, you know, how about I try this, which is a lot more, you know, good intentioned and positive filled energy to do that. So yeah, that's how we ended up with Poisonous Band-Aid. I started writing it 2024, and you know,
Great
finished.
title.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely a benzos are definitely a Band-Aid we all try to use for daily stresses and anxieties, and just, you know, poisons our systems and all that. So yeah, and yeah, I was gonna say kind of lost my train of thought here.
Oh, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
We do it.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, that's really kind of the reason behind writing this book. And yeah, I was wanting to kind of talk a little bit more about the timeline from, you know, 2012 until 2018, when I was kind of mostly kind of in my house and kind of relying on my parents way too much with like getting food, medications, and going to the doctors and all that. And yeah, and throughout all those years, I had to use a wheelchair too, because
Damn, it got that bad.
yeah, I was so tired, and the muscles in my legs, and
That atrophy.
Didn't want to
yeah,
work. Yeah, because I see that it is a muscle relaxer.
yeah, muscle relaxer, and
So that's why you were always wanting to be in bed, because it was just like you were just so.
yeah, I was just really miserable, even trying to get anywhere in my own house, and trying to go to the kitchen, get something, and even standing in the shower.
And how many years were you like this?
Over 6 years.
6 years. Oh, so the muscle atrophy in those 6 years, because of course not moving. You know, damn, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I
exactly.
bet that
Sitting
was
down.
you being an athletic person wanting to play tennis. I bet that was like torture, man. Like you can't do what you love to do.
Yeah,
Especially when you had plans for it.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It really humbled me that, you know,
Yeah.
and I had to really, you know, be really kind to myself, because a lot of people would start beating themselves up, or get really angry at people around them and make their relationships toxic. Even though I wasn't, you know, in person with a lot of people, I could have, you know, texted a lot of people like, you know, man, this is all your fault, you know, for no reason. I would, you know, project onto someone else. But, you know, over the years, I learned that, you know, this is all maybe just God's plan, you know, for me, and this is all maybe it's what it's supposed to be, and maybe after a few years I'll find the reason behind it, and you know, lo and behold, maybe this is my reason behind it.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, it took you from tennis to being a writer, so that may be it.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, and yeah, the wheelchair thing really lasted from 2013 is when I really got the wheelchair for 5 years until 2018, and you know, these benzos were actually like 50 or 70% of something that was, you know, poisoning my system. But I actually had something else, which is a tooth filling. I had this tooth filling done in 2008 when I was in Iowa, and I was 13 years old in 2008. I got that put in. And it was just maybe 1 or 2 tooth fillings. And then in October of 2008, I went to this holistic doctor in Houston. This guy was I think he was born here, but his parents and stuff, they were from Chinese. His family were Chinese. And he told me that, you know, I have so many tooth fillings in my teeth. I have these fillings in my teeth. They're called amalgam mercury tooth fillings. And they have they have 50% mercury in them.
Wow.
Oh
And-
my goodness.
And then, unluckily, you know, I was very sensitive to benzos and also sensitive to the filling that was in my teeth. So this doctor is like, you know, I started talking Chinese to my American wife, who strictly knows English. So she was confused as hell. And she was like, what is happening to you? What, are you neurologically or mentally okay? What's going on here? Why are you just speaking to me in Chinese, or maybe mixing in a lot of Chinese words in your English?
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm sorry, I have this going on, like, you know, neurologically, I feel like. And then he goes to a biological dentist, and this guy takes out all of his fillings, and after a few months he was totally fine. So
Oh wow.
so this really messed him up neurologically, and or I guess you could call neuropsychiatrically.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, well, mercury is like poisonous to the body. I mean,
Yeah.
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 kill you.
Yeah, I just don't know why they're continuing to do that to people. Put it into their mouths. Just luckily they don't show sensitivity, and they'll be okay. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that's I went to a biological dentist towards that October 2018. I got the tooth filling taken out, and then 2-3 months passed by. January of 2019. I mean, my parents and I we're together almost every day, you know, and they notice a difference whenever they feel like, you know, I'm feeling a little more energy, like my voice is sounding more crisp and clear, and I'm breathing a little easier. I'm feeling a little more relaxed, and they're like, Iman, you know, how's it going after a couple of months? How are you feeling? You know, and then I was like, you know, actually, I can take a little more deeper breaths. I can, you know, I can take, you know, longer strides. And actually, I mean, since over the years, when from 2012 to 2018, my muscles were so stiff that I was taking too long of a strides, you know, trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
My parents were like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
It kind of looks a little funny. And I was like, you know, I can't help it. My muscles are just way too stiff. And then, but towards the end of 2018, going into 2019, my muscles started to relax a little bit. And they're like, you seem to be walking a little more relaxed. You seem to be doing a little bit better in that regard. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I mean, I feel like when I'm talking to you guys, I feel like my voice is a little bolder. I can actually hear my voice more crisp and more clean. And I mean, it got to a point where when I felt like more encouraged to try to get out a little bit more out of my house and actually start walking in my neighborhood and break a sweat and really, you know, exert myself more. We got our physical therapist. Her name is Amy. We initially invited her from. I forgot. She was from Shannon Home Health. She came and attended to me in 2015 when I was at the worst of my health issues, and that was when I was just sleeping all day in my room and just stretching out my muscles and drinking tea and all that, just trying to relax on my bed. And that's when she came and tried to like help me take baby steps and try to get that kind of atrophied condition kind of out of my system a little bit. And then she came back 4 years later and she was like, Iman, I don't even recognize you. We just hugged it out. And I mean, we just went into our neighborhood and she's like, how about you start running? How long has it been since you ran? I was like, maybe 6-7 years. I haven't ran.
Yeah.
So that was pretty insane to hear myself say that. And I just, you know, started thinking about, you know, how am I going to do running after a tennis ball?
Yeah.
So I just started, you know, maybe jogging a little bit, and then I started sprinting in the neighborhood. And then my mom was watching from the window and she's like, what happened there? It's like this son that I was taking care of all these years. I was even like throughout the years, I was misdiagnosed with Lyme's disease, and my mom, bless her heart, she was changing a PICC line, which is a kind of antibiotic through an IV. She was changing every week or two, and she's like, this guy that I was taking care of as a nurse in the house, he's running out there with his physical therapist. This is a life-changing thing. And and then I mean, after that we just went in the house with Amy. We just bawled our eyes out, like this is such a life-changing thing, you know. So when we went to a doctor a few months ago and he said something, it actually turned out to be, you know, right. And he, you know, told me to get this filling out. It did have a actual positive impact on me. The first doctor that said anything positive or impactful in the, you know, in all the 6 or 7 years that I was going to the doctors back then. So,
wow, it sounds like to me it's like acute mercury poisoning.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
That is,
And I mean, it only really improved, you know, maybe 20 to 30% of my symptoms. We were kind of expecting, you know, maybe a year past, I would feel 100% better. We weren't really settled on the benzos being something that affected me, you know, was the root issue of of my entire problems. So, I mean, we still really persisted. We went to a Cleveland clinic in 2021, and even during the pandemic, which was kind of the worst few months or year for almost everybody, and I actually had a blast video calling with my friends who were stuck at home. I was like, I'm sorry you're going through this, but I'm having an amazing year. I'm sorry. I felt terrible saying that to them, but I'm like, I'm having a like since the beginning of 2019, I started, you know, stopped using my wheelchair, and I'm like, man, I'm getting out. I'm starting to play a little tennis out there. And he's like, man, Emo, that's the best thing I've heard in the past few months, where I was diagnosed with COVID and everything. This is the best thing I've heard. So I'm like, man, I'm just here to try to give you guys good news. So, that was kind of the story. And back then, and and then, you know, going back to 2022, that was one of the times I went to rehab. And, you know, a lot of people are addicted to the medications and like a lot of alcohol and all those things. Very few benzos over there. I'm not sure why, but very few came with benzo symptoms. Maybe because a lot of people know how hard it is for addiction centers to like instill a program that would get someone off of the benzos. Because only 2 to 3 weeks is not enough for a benzo patient to be off of a medication. So 2022, I went to Hunt, Texas. It was called La Hacienda. I mean, the place was beautiful. It looked like a college campus. Everyone was there, and it seemed like a college party sometimes. But I mean, I knew everyone was really suffering. It was just kind of the way it looked from my own eyes. It looked like everyone else weren't suffering as much as I was, and they were kind of maybe they were going through things internally, but they were, you know, laying kind of near the pool area and kind of relaxing and all that. But you know,
that sounds like a good rehab center.
Good rehab. It was. It
Everyone's
was.
happy. And I'm like, damn, this place works.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty nice place, and
did it help you at all? I mean, any kind of benefit for you?
I mean, they just stripped the Klonopin from my system. I was taking Klonopin back then. I went cold turkey with the Klonopin, and the first week they said this is gonna be the roughest of your time here, and it actually turned out to be the easiest, because after that it actually got worse. So I was like, guys, okay, I think you're probably right. I just have to chill out, and then they just substituted something called phenobarbital, which is kind of like buspirone, a long-acting anti-anxiety thing, and it was just there to kind of manage me not having a seizure. You know, the first few days of being cold turkeyed, and that first week I was like, okay, we're gonna see how the second week goes, and it just happened to be worse, and all they could do was give me more muscle relaxers and all that, like called Robaxin. That's what the muscle relaxers they give there. And the second or third week, I'm just like, this isn't working, guys. What is going on here? I really trusted you guys with this process, and after 2 to 3 weeks, I just try to remain graceful, not try to yell at them or anything, because they promised something and something else was happening, and I'm like, and then maybe this was kind of a blessing in disguise, because there were like a few hundred of people there, and it felt like high school all over again, except 100 times worse, because I felt so much worse than I did back in high school when I was just starting out with benzodiazepines, and then COVID cases started to happen there, and then my parents were like, okay, we're gonna come and get you because we don't want you to get COVID on top of your withdrawal symptoms there. Yeah. And then it was around July 4th actually. I went back home and then back home in 2022, I spent the rest of the summer there. I was like with my parents, and they told me, just remain patient. Maybe it's going to turn around after 2 to 3 weeks or a month or so. And then after 6 weeks that I was off of the medication, from mid-June to kind of mid-August, I was still off of the medication, going through severe acute withdrawal symptoms. And at the detox center, I could go to some meetings and, all these Alcohol Anonymous meetings I went to, where people who withdraw from, what do you call it? Those medications, painkiller medications like hydrocodone and all those.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
That's what they were trying to get off of too. And I kind of attended those meetings with them. And I could really tolerate being around people and hearing them talk and their stories. I really felt for them. I was still at that capacity where I could really, I sympathized with them. Yeah. And, I really made a lot of good friends there and all that. Even one story, I was actually on my scooter because it was a really big place, because then instead of walking around, I used a scooter to get around. And the first time I used my scooter, I kind of lost control of it and hit the back of an SUV.
Oh.
Same.
Really? Yeah. And then I saw this beautiful girl. She was kind of approaching me, and she's like, "Oh no, what happened?" I was like totally embarrassed and caught off guard. But she actually turned out to be my best friend there. She sat with me like throughout all of the meetings there, and gave me drinks because she knows I was having a tough time moving around, and we're still keeping in touch. She lives in San Antonio. She's a real estate agent now, so she's a really hot shot over there. So, and it was. I made quite a few friends there. I told my own story, so they were pretty. They really got into it with my story. They really sympathized with that, and that was really kind of the what I thought was going to be the worst part of my summer turned out to be kind of decent compared to what I went through at home. I kind of really sprawled out in bed and couldn't do anything at all. Just switched from being in my bed to the master bedroom in my parents' bed. That's all I did for 2 to 3 weeks in a row. And then my parents were like, "We got to do something now. We got to." They reached out to a few places online, like, to addiction psychiatrists. And then finally on August 8th in 2022, maybe it's a good omen or something, but since I love tennis, that was Roger Federer's birthday. And I set up an appointment with an addiction psychiatrist. And after almost 2 months of not being on benzos, he prescribed me because my family doctor, he was saying like, you got to continue being off of these medications, even though he should have known that being off of these medications could cause these severe acute withdrawal symptoms, but he wasn't having it. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like we kept telling him like, I got to be back on these so I can start weaning off of them properly.
Yeah.
You know all about this. Why are you? And then he was like,
cold turkey.
yeah. And then he's like, my license, I don't want to get in, I was trying to be careful with you the past few months because I was trying to lead you to a detox center to get off of these. I don't want to risk my license again. So these guys are just,
saving his ass.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it came out to be that he finally dropped us because he didn't want the headache of, being associated with someone like me. And so unfortunately, it turned out to be that way, but we got a much more kind of understanding family doctor now, and he's really up to date. And I just saw him this week and showed him my book and all that. And he's like, wow, we've come a long way the past 3 years. So he was pretty proud, and I really appreciated seeing him this week.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool, man. That's a good story. It have really long way.
Yeah.
I guess could you tell our listeners where they can find your book and how, I guess, throw your plug in?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can find it on Amazon, Poisonous Band-Aid, and I can share my link on my Instagram, Facebook page, and everything, and you guys can all find it there. And I plan to do some book signings at ASU or maybe at Nook and Press, and that's a pretty nice, chill place to do one.
Yeah, I think that would be a good.
Yeah, definitely. And and lately I've joined a church here at SAF, San Angelo Assembly.
Okay.
San Angelo First Assembly of God, that's what it's called. And they're all great kids, mostly college-age students, but I mean, I'm really starting to love, being part of that group. And I haven't really been part of a social group in many years, maybe going back to end of my high school days. So it's a pretty great group, and we're actually doing some Bible studies and all that. And we're all, getting closer to God in that way. And that's so just going to see how those connections kind of develop over the next few months. So.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm excited for it to come out. I'm going to give it a read, obviously.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Put it on Audible so you can get some more people, because I know a lot of people drive.
Oh, yeah.
They can't really stop and read, but any way they can absorb the information, man, would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys could, post the link on your page, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely, we will, man.
And I'll tag you in everything. Like whenever I post this for the episode, I'll tag you, and on how people can reach you, I'll tag that on there too. So that way,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
thank you guys. Yeah, I'll definitely, maybe I'll be in base with you guys when I'm, completely off of the medications.
Yeah.
It's
Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, it's 2026. It's under 1 milligrams of benzos, and
congratulations.
I was on 30 milligrams. So
that's crazy.
Pretty insane way.
Yeah.
But man, Iman, thank you very much for coming on the podcast and telling us your story, man. That was,
of course, man.
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Hey guys, absolutely. Hey guys, thank you for listening, and we'll catch y'all next week. What it do?